Hello, everyone. So, unfortunately, the last 2 weeks there've been two of these incidents, and unfortunately, yesterday was a very serious incident in County Kildare, and it's a tragedy for the people who were innocent people, members of the public, travelling the right side of the road going to Dublin Airport. And again, the simple fact of the matter of this, in this case and the other case, is this could be any of us. This could be any of us going to work, going to school, going to college, bringing the kids to school, going for a day out to the park, regardless of what time, in the middle of the night, middle of the day, etc. There's going to be some idiot to try and do this for TikTok likes, etc. Because it is a TikTok I suppose, viral kind of thing that you would drive the wrong side of the road and record yourself stealing cars, etc. Driving the wrong side of the road. And unfortunately, in this case, this killed the people that done this. And that was very, very stupid and very selfish, may I say. That they didn't think of themselves, first of all. They didn't think of who they could hurt, who they could kill by going the wrong side of a motorway. Because it's not a game, it's not GTA, as I say. It's a very, very serious thing. And again, we do pray for the people who were injured, the four people who were injured, the child too, in the other car too. We hope they make a swift recovery. But as I say, we seen this just a week ago in Dublin, that eight people in one car driving the wrong side of the road, and unfortunately hit a man in a car going to work, I think it was. But what I'm trying to say, thankfully everybody survived in that incident, but the car was probably stolen. The car was stolen. In this case, it does seem to be stolen too, going by it. But it just shows you too, even just looking at the footage of it, the car that's left. There's not even a car left, it's just totally mangled. But we pray for the people who are injured and we pray for their swift recovery. But as I say, and I say this to the strongest possible terms to people, that even young people out there, don't do this. Don't put your life at risk. Don't put other people's life. If you want to kill yourself, go and drive into a wall if you wish. But don't put members of the public, children, innocent people going about their business. Don't put them at risk. Whatever about yourself. If you want to do it to yourself, go do it. Basically, you can crash into a wall, etc. But don't dare put members of the public, innocent people that are doing their only business, going about their lives. Don't do that. Simple as that. Don't do that. And of course, the people involved in this accident, the people who are injured and stuff, who have lifelong trauma, lifelong injuries too, and all over what? For a few likes on TikTok, for a few maybe mentions on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. And I think it's just selfish. That's all it was. It was just selfish and not thinking about anybody else but themselves. And it's just disgraceful. It really, really is disgraceful because this could have been any of us. This could be you, me in the morning, going to work. You can. And the simple fact of the matter is that we need to have a genuine discussion in this country on what our young people are trying to do in this society. That they think it's acceptable, to do this kind of stuff. And for likes and shares or for money on TikTok or whatever it is. No likes, no shares, no anything is worth your life or anybody else's life, just to say. There's plenty of other things you could do for likes and shares. You can do something productive. You could do anything, but taking your life into your own hands and other members of the public, innocent people, is unforgivable. It really, really is unforgivable. But I think the main point I'm trying to get across here that we need to, as citizens, even as citizens of Ireland, we need to talk to our young people and say this is not something you should do, should never do, should never go and do in the first place. And the same when it comes to speeding, etc. You never know what can happen. You could spin out, you can hit a person on the side of the road. It's the same with Drake driving, etc. Because it can happen within an instant. An accident can happen within an instant. Um, it's probably in this case too, because they probably didn't have their lights on and they probably hit the car in the dark. And of course, there needs to be questions asked of the Gardaí, because the Gardaí basically can do nothing to stop these cars going the wrong side of the road, and that's just the simple truth. They can do basically nothing. They can't even follow them, etc. But we have to look at in terms of entrances to motorways specifically. It's going to be impossible to do it on side roads because obviously it's just one way. But particularly on motorways and stuff, there needs to be some kind of device on the motorways that when you're going the opposite way, it would deflate your tires, like some kind of spikes and stuff. If you go the opposite way of traffic, it would deflate your tires and stop you from going. Or take for example on ramps. Take for example, there should be probably something that stops you from going. We have to look at that. Unfortunately, again, we have to because. We can't allow only members of the public. Whatever the people doing it, that's their problem. That's their responsibility if they wish to cause their own demise. But what I'm trying to say, for only members of the public, it's unacceptable that anybody would be put in danger. And I think that's the main message we should get across. But as I say, these people were going off the Dublin airport for a wedding, and unfortunately in the hospital fighting for their lives. And we do pray, and again I can't say this enough, we pray that they recover, because they shouldn't be there. They should never have been in the hospital in the first place. They should be on a plane, going to wherever they were going. And that's just the simple truth, that's where they should be. And unfortunately few four of them took their lives into their own hands and other people's lives to be stupid, basically. Let's put it that way, to be idiots in terms of what they did, because it was senseless. It's absolutely senseless what they did. And again, regardless, you could say it's 3 o'clock in the morning, there's not many people about. You could do it like when literally no cars at all are in the country. But it's the simple fact of the matter, there always could be somebody driving along, going to work, going to an appointment, going on holidays, going here, going there. These are motorways. These are where people go and travel. It's just senseless. It really, really is just senseless, and I can't say enough of it. And I say this to young people: don't do it, regardless regardless of who says, or even if somebody puts pressure on you. I know that is things nowadays that young people will be pressurized by a group of people to do it. To go in and do it, to take part in the group, etc. But don't do it. Don't risk your life. Don't risk other people's lives. Don't do it. Just say no. It's a simple thing, but it's a hard thing to do. Say no. Because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the likes and comments or whatever you get. It's not worth it. And I say this as a YouTuber. It isn't worth it. Nothing's worth your life. It's simple as that. Whatever but a few minutes of fame on YouTube or on Facebook or whatever it could be, it's not worth your life. It's not worth the suffering. It's not worth the pain that these families will feel. It's not worth the pain of the other families too, that are worried about the daughters and the child dying. It's not worth it. Nothing is ever worth that. But as I say, we do have to have the discussion in society about this, because it has happened in the past, unfortunately. People did go the wrong way to try and escape the Gardaí, etc. And as I say, it does need to be talked about, because it's only by talking about it that we can achieve something, that we can try and make a difference in society. But when it comes to people driving the wrong way, they're taking their own lives in their own hands. And at the end of the day, if they're going to be so reckless with themselves, then there's nothing anybody can do to stop them. But at the very least, if they want to do it to themselves, they can do it to themselves, but they shouldn't bring members of the public with them. As simple as that. But do let me know what you think, as I say. I am very harsh when it comes to these things, because innocent people were hurt. Innocent people had nothing to do with anything, were hurt. And that's the main thing, what they say. That these innocent people didn't deserve to be in the hospital, didn't deserve to be fighting for their very existence in life. They didn't deserve that. They never did. They were just about their business. The same as you and me. We go to work, we go to school, we go to college, whatever the situation. We always expect to come home at the end of the day. And unfortunately, these people might not come home. These innocent people, they might never come home. And that's just the sad thing about it. And unfortunately, that's life, but it's the sad thing. But as I say, as a society, we need to have these discussions with young people that this is something that should never happen. That should never be allowed to happen in society. It's something, and again, it's up to the parents at the end of the day, when you have young children, etc. Just instill values in them. To think about others, in society, about your actions, how it can affect others, etc. Because that's the main thing. That what about hurting yourself? Hurting others is a no go, especially to this degree. Do let me know what you think. Subscribe for more and bye.